So one of the biggest mistakes I see in divorce are people signing papers without having an attorney read them, because sometimes you might be signing something and you may not fully understand the legal implications of that document. Other common mistakes I see in divorce is sometimes people will try to save money and represent themselves. And unfortunately, a lot of people just don't know how to navigate the court system and properly file things and properly have documents served. So those are other mistakes that I see in a divorce. Another mistake that I see in divorce is often one spouse may have documents drafted by an attorney. They will bring them to the other spouse and say, here's what it says. And they trust what their spouse has told them and they sign the documents, but that's not actually what the documents say. Another mistake I often see in divorce is a lot of times people want to take and post to social media about their feelings or what's going on. And there's a couple of problems with that. One is that it's probably going to be read to a judge, and based on what's posted, the judge may not always like that. And then the second thing is a lot of times you might be revealing confidences that you have with your attorney, and that's what the last thing that you need to be doing. So I always advise people during a divorce, please stay off social media as far as talking about your divorce, and please don't post anything that may imply that you are talking about the divorce. Another common mistake that I see in divorce is spouses threatening the other spouse, or telling them, "I know the judge," or "I know this is how this is going to work out," and trying to bully the other spouse into doing what they want them to do, and that doesn't always go well when you are actually in front of a judge. So one of the common mistakes I see in a divorce is just simply not following your attorney's advice and listening to other people who aren't attorneys. A lot of times you might want to lean on a family member who's been through a divorce or a friend who's been through a divorce, but there's not any two divorces that are the same. The facts are different in each case. The judges may not always be the same, so it's very important that you take the advice of your attorney. So another mistake I see during divorce is a lot of times people will start dating somebody new and they really want to involve that other person in the divorce process. And that's not something I advise people to do because technically under the law, you're still married until you're divorced. So bringing in your new boyfriend or your new girlfriend and really interjecting them into the divorce is a mistake that I've seen people make. Another common mistake I see in a divorce is people thinking that they need to basically cash out all their accounts, hold all their money, move it to separate accounts. You've got to be aware that once that divorce is filed, a lot of times injunctions go into place, and that is exactly what it says not to do, is not to dissipate and really start moving money around. So I see a lot of people panic and they want to do something like cash out their 401k and give it to their parents. Well, you can't do that. And so you need to really listen to your attorney, talk to your attorney about what you can and cannot do when it comes to certain assets and debts. Another common mistake I see people make in a divorce is once they're served, then they will start canceling certain types of insurance. They may take their spouse off of their health insurance or cancel the car insurance, things like that. There are injunctions in place that tell you not to do those things. So before you decide to do something with any kind of insurance, you need to first talk to your attorney. So if you've got any questions about a divorce or what you should or should not do if you're anticipating a divorce or if you recently filed or been served with a divorce, please feel free to give us a call at Mandy Hancock Law, and we will be glad to talk to you about the do's and don'ts of divorce.